Welcome to the Autism Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Janine Hershkovitz, and it's my goal to help you create a more peaceful home while living with autistic and neurodivergent loved ones. Each episode, we focus on a different room in the house and help you create a peace plan for your home. So let's get started. Welcome back to the Autism Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Janine Hershkovitz, and today we have a truly special episode lined up for you. I'm thrilled to welcome Brigitte Shipman and Maureen Brice, two incredible autism moms who've dedicated their lives to supporting others on this journey. You may remember Brigitte. She's been on the pod previously and was such a delight to talk to. I asked her to come back and bring a friend. So in this episode, we're diving deep into the challenges and triumphs of parenting children on the autism spectrum. And both of my guests are life coaches and autism moms with several decades of experience. So together we'll be discussing the importance of mom's self-care, the misconceptions surrounding autism, and the profound lessons that we've all learned along the way. But that's not all. Brigitte and Maureen have teamed up to create, try one time, sorry. But that's not all. Brigitte and Maureen have teamed up to create a transformative retreat specifically for autism moms happening this summer, and we'll share all those details about this amazing opportunity to recharge, connect, and find community. So whether you're a seasoned autism parent or just starting out, this episode is packed with wisdom, hope, and practical advice. So let's jump in. Well, Brigitte and Maureen, thank you so much for coming on to the Autism Blueprint Podcast. How are you guys doing today?
So good. Thank you so much for having us.
Wonderful.
Good. I'm so glad to have you guys. Brigitte, this is probably the second time that you've been on. I know I've had you on before, and it's so nice to have you back.
It's so nice to be back. It's nice to see your friendly face, and I'm just very, very excited to be here today.
Great. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I want you each to kind of just take a moment, introduce yourself, and just tell us a little bit about your autism parenting journey. And Brigitte, let's have you start.
Okay. I know that I've been on here before, but for those of you that missed that episode, I am firstly a mom. I'm a mother of two beautiful sons, Joseph and Jacob. And Joseph is on the autism spectrum. And I now do, I'm a life coach. I've been in education, but now I have chosen to be a coach for autism moms who are looking for extra support on their autism journeys. Joseph and I have written a book, Mother's Guide Through Autism Through the Eyes of the Guided. We have a podcast, and I get energized by being with other moms like you two.
Wonderful. And Maureen?
Hi, I'm Maureen. And I too am an autism mom. I could take off what Brigitte said. I'll just keep going. I have three beautiful kids. And my youngest son, Jonathan, who's 24, was diagnosed with autism severe. He's in the severe level, or was, I should say. And when he was 18 months old. So it's just been thrown into that world of autism and hurdles and combat and exhaustion. But through the years, I've learned to rise up and heal my son, heal my family, heal myself. I too am a certified health coach and life coach. And in the last few years, I've really enjoyed doing energy readings with moms to help guide them when they get stuck. And that's one of I call them angel readings. So, and I too have a book. My book is called My Autism Hat Rack, The Life Flip. And it's an audiobook also.
Wonderful.
So you can find me there. And my company is hopedreambelieve.com. So check me out there.
Great. I'm so glad you're both with me today. I'm going to link to everything in the show notes that we talk about so that people can just click on it and find you guys. Well, I'm really excited because you guys have taken a big step in mommy self-care and created a retreat for moms. And so we are going to talk about that. Before we do, though, I kind of want to get some of your personal experiences as far as, because the three of us, I would guess, because we have adult children, are women of a certain age. Which
We're
means
wise. Janine, we're very wise.
Very wise. Yes. I was just going to say, with that comes so much wisdom. And I feel like in the autism community, especially, I have always looked up to the moms that went before, to try to learn from them. And now, isn't it cool that we're like the senior moms, right? And I don't
right, the veterans
as an age. I mean senior as in if we were in high school, we're the seniors.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I like that.
And the cool kids too. So.
Don't forget.
So whoever wants to jump in, I'm curious about what some of your biggest challenges were in raising your kids and how you faced them. And I know that's kind of a broad question, but what was a challenge that you had back in the day that now you're able to manage?
Maureen, you want to go or you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
So what's so funny is you can lasso all those challenges, right? There's so many. But I love that question. The fact of the first thing that comes to mind, the challenge was to keep everything balanced. I have 3 kids, and so the 2 neurotypical kids were the oldest. So you get all the, let's just call normal mommy things down. Plus I was a working mom. And then Jonathan comes along and it just, everything shifts. You have no answers, especially back in the 2000s. My goodness, there were no answers, no doctors, just tons of resilience. Of reluctance, like hurdles. So like you couldn't even find a doctor to help you find what's wrong with your son. Why his poops were toxic, why he couldn't eat, just things that you had to learn. So balancing it though was so hard, especially with marriage. You just have to, and friendships, and then it turned into an isolation. So through the years, I think every hurdle was accomplished, but it all comes back again. It's not like it's secular, it's with growth comes. So it's the balance. And what I found, and what really was amazing, how Brigitte and I, our stories are so similar, and Janine, ours are too. It's like every autism mom really has a similar story, but unique experiences, right? Because their child's unique, they are unique. But the balance was finding, just restoring myself. Because I found when I balanced everybody, it's like, that when everybody has those plates spinning on those sticks, that's kind of how I felt life was with autism. We're spinning these different plates, whether it's education, nutrition, family, and all the stuff, and they're all spinning, but you're the one having to keep it all balanced and spinning. And then the plates start crashing because you're the one not putting back into yourself, and you can't spin those plates anymore. So balance was the biggest challenge on a whole. And, it still is. I think everybody has to work on themselves and putting infusion of love and caring back into yourself, being the mom.
Yes. Oh, that makes so much sense. And we set that tone, don't we, for the household? If we're not okay,
exactly,
nobody's okay. So, yeah. And Brigitte, what comes to mind for you when we talk about challenges in the past?
Well, I feel like everything that Maureen said, of course, was also part of my journey. But I think for me, as I have grown, as we were saying earlier, we're the seniors of the class and have acquired so much more wisdom than young Brigitte. I think young Brigitte lived in really and truly deep sadness, but I always had a smile on my face. So I was in fight or flight, and I didn't give myself, or I didn't have the know-how. I didn't know how to live this life that I didn't sign up for. So I spent a lot of my moments in constant worry. What are we going to do? When Joseph wakes up, what am I going to do? I mean, that, I don't know how else to put it other than I was just always a ball of stress. I went to bed stressed. I woke up stressed. I showered stressed. I just, it was that energy, right? That anxious energy. But of course, I was not aware of it. So I think my biggest challenge was how to manage and understand what I was feeling, because I didn't know. I didn't know anything other than what was I going to find to help Joseph. That was pretty much the world I lived in.
Yes. And that sounds like the world of every autism mom and dad, actually, that come in to see me for help, is that they just want to know, am I doing it right? And what am I missing? And a lot of times when parents come in, they're so stressed that we have to just work on bringing down, that stress response, that fight or flight. Because as you guys know, any junk you didn't deal with in your past, once you have a child with autism, it just goes right to the top of the list, right? Have you experienced that too, Maureen? Oh, I can't hear you.
I think your mic may have been unplugged. On our screen, it's showing that you're mute. Is there a button at the bottom that shows a mute button?
I got it.
Oh, there you go. You're good.
This technology game. Thank you. Yes.
We edit. Don't worry.
No, it's like, yeah. But yes, I totally agree with you, Janine. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a tough experience. So, kind of fast forwarding to the work that you guys do with parents, because I know you work one-on-one with parents. How has your perspective about autism changed now that you're helping other parents? And what is one of the biggest misconceptions you see that parents have?
Oh, I want to take that first. Is that cool, Bridget?
Yeah.
Okay. Hope. I know it's so almost cheesy, but there was no hope. Everything was hopeless back when we started, over 2 decades ago. And even through the trials and tribulations, we would have just peaks of happy. But then it would just be swashed with an IEP that wasn't satisfied. You get the wrong teacher, you get the right teacher. It's the putting hope in other people. Like, it's not just you're having to put your child in someone else's hands for their growth, which is fearful and scary. But so hope was just gone. And what I found through the years is once I could embrace hope, like look at the good things, I could see in Jonathan, I was like, yeah, he jumped and he was a runner and everything, but I ran right by him and I thought, I got cardio too. All right. Woohoo. So it was like little things like that, which made me go, okay, this is pretty hopeful. He would jump up and down. I do jumping jacks with him. And then I'd get eye contact. And it was those little glimpses of hope and breakthrough that built the steps to recovery for him. And recovery is a scary word. Because if they saw Jonathan, he's still, he has other ailments like epilepsy. And so he has 24/7 care, but he can communicate and he's just limited in his communication.
Yep.
But back then he was in the corner hitting his head on the wall. So it's kind of like, woof, those little glimpses, and I would hold on to that and I would make it hopeful, and they built on each other. So that's hope and healing really helped me get through these years. And Jonathan, because the ripple effect for him was amazing. Like I could sit there and work on him for hours, and so could an ABA therapist and a speech therapist and OT. But let's just say he and I would sit there and giggle for 5 minutes, and I felt like his spirits would lift and he would break out of his bubble, of isolation. So he felt better when I felt better. So we worked on it together, which
Yeah.
I gave a speech a long time ago. And the end of it, I said, I started out to heal Jonathan, but he ended up healing me.
Absolutely.
So it was with hope that,
Yeah.
and in the little steps, the little successes, don't, think about those and not about all the challenges. See the
Yes.
child, not the challenge.
Absolutely. And Brigitte, how about you? What do you have to add to that?
Well, everything that Maureen said is also true for me, but I would say that a misconception I think that I still hear is that there's mothers don't, this is talking from my experience, don't give themselves permission to live.
Yeah.
It's almost like my life was finding the next therapy, finding the next doctor, finding the next whatever that there was, rather than understanding that I didn't have to live in fight or flight. That I could, in fact, be happy, even though Joseph was, going through different phases of the autism journey where I felt like he was suffering. I think that's why it's so important now that he is, soon to be 33, that the times that I thought he was suffering, he was great. So I think that is a misconception is, when we're suffering, we think, oh, my poor child, Joseph's not playing with anybody at the park. Oh no, and he's having a great day.
Yeah.
He loves putting the gravel on the turtle statue over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I think that is still true. I think moms are still putting all the weight of the world and what they perceive to be their truth is quite, in fact, not true.
Mhm.
And I can honestly tell you that Joseph, chiming in what Maureen said, Joseph has taught me how to be a much, much more compassionate, loving human. And I thank him for that. And he has his one line profound statements. And I said, Joseph, what do you think my life lesson is? And he said, to let go. And I'm like, well,
Wow.
there you go. There you go. You know what? He taught me a very important lesson to just chill a little bit and to enjoy life. And so I hope moms hear that.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's been my experience as well. And I have a son who speaks a lot in scripts, movie scripts and book scripts, but he'll use them appropriately.
Me too. Yeah. Jonathan does
Yeah.
that too. I love that.
I love
Yeah.
it too. And once I realized it was a form of communication, I would just memorize the same scripts and we would just go line for line. And you'd get such a kick out of it. And, he one day recently, when I was flustered about something, he literally just walked past me and gave me a line about chilling, like you just said, Brigitte, and it just struck me because he said something about just chill. And I thought, and I said, was that directed at me? Because I'll chill. It's fine. You're allowed to tell mom to chill. And he just smiled and, kept walking. But, I can ask him now because his yeses and nos are more reliable. I can say, are you just scripting for fun for yourself or are you communicating with me? And he can tell me the difference. And sometimes he'll say, communicating with you. And then he'll have something profound to say, maybe it's from Thomas or Blue's Clues or, something like that, but it's profound.
I love that. Janine, I did not know that so my son, his thing is VeggieTales.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that was, and I call it talking in videos,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's amazing. How brilliant are our children to be able to find a way to communicate?
Yeah.
Right. And then to tell us to chill out.
Yeah. Yeah. He was spot on.
Or let go,
Yeah.
Exactly. I love it.
I know it. They're just amazing. But when you're in it, when your kids are in those single digit years, right? From 0 to 10, you're trying so hard. And especially if this is, if you're a new mom or young mom. Ben was my first. So I just figured, oh, I guess they're all like this. But until I got rolling. But
Wow.
it's so difficult. When did you guys was there a moment you guys realized that your well-being was just as important as your child's?
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Oh, yes. I think there are many pockets of moments, but I was shared this with Brigitte on one of our chill and chats, and so I was driving to a venue to do a retreat to go check it out for my local autism moms, and I got real dizzy, and next thing I know, I couldn't breathe, and I'm driving the car with Jonathan, and I looked, and I knew I had to get to the hospital, and I went. There was a clinic right there off the highway. Pulled into it, and I said, "I think I don't know what's going on." And they go, "You're having a stroke, lady." And I'm like, I'm not like, I can't walk, like I'm crawling at this point because I got Jonathan safely to a hospital. That was, when you mothers can do anything, you can lift cars, And anyway, they said I'm having a stroke. They wheeled me in. I wasn't, but I had all the symptoms, and for 3 months we couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then fast forward to March 2019, my brother found me at my house, and Jonathan was with his dad at the time, and took me to the hospital. And the doctor said I was lucky to come in. I wasn't going to be able to wake up the next day.
My goodness.
So I had hydroencephalitis. My brain was swollen, and I had no movement. I couldn't move. I had vertigo, fatigue, brain fog. And I just was like, how did this happen? I do yoga every day. It's like,
Right.
and I'm a healthy person. But what it was is just years of exhaustion and not putting myself first. And there were environmental toxins. There was mold in the house and formaldehyde and everything I didn't know about in the house we were renting. But if I hadn't been so depleted, I feel like I wouldn't have gotten so sick.
Okay.
But that was like when God said, basically, you need to take care of yourself. I had a conversation with God. I did a negotiation. And I said, you can't take me unless you have someone to take care of Jonathan like I do. And my answer was another chance at life. So it was really dramatic, but I think it had to be because otherwise I was still going at the pace and the routine and everything. And so, yeah, it sucked, but I changed right then and there. I thought I need to take care of myself first. So, yeah, mine was sucky, but Bridget's go girl.
Thank you for sharing that, Maureen. That's very personal and very poignant. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone kind of take a breath because that's quite a story. And I want everyone to be able to absorb what Maureen just said because it's important.
Yeah.
So I didn't learn. I'm a slow learner. As Joseph said, I don't let things go very well. So I too they told me 2 hours away from dying when I went into a diabetic coma at age 39. I became a type 1 and just refused to listen to my body, and then was forced to go through a completely different life based on being a type 1. And I still kept going at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I was in my early 50s that my body was just, I had, they didn't diagnose me as a nervous breakdown, but I broke out in full body hives from head to toe and it wasn't going away.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, food allergies. And I knew what it was. I knew. And I just decided, as I drug myself to a very stressful job every day, what are you going to, are you finally, are you going to get the message? Because I do think we get messages over and over and over again until we learn them.
Yeah.
I was a slow learner. And at that point in my life, I quit my job and I started doing Martha Beck life coach training. And here I am. So it was, I just kept having to have big health scares before I caught on.
Well, and I'm just struck by your stories and how it led you to not only take care of yourself, but then to pay that forward.
Oh, yeah. I don't want anybody in the hospital. I mean, there's a reason. For me, I don't want to talk for Brigitte, but my God, the last thing you want is another mom to go through a situation, and we're all going through it.
Yeah.
So it's like, look at the signs and stop it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a calling, if you will. I like Maureen said, it's kind of corny to say that, but hey, it's the truth.
It is.
Because I could ride off into the sunset, and I keep getting pulled back. And the whole 30 plus years that I've been on this journey, I get calls, and I think it's really important, the work that we're all doing to, and we talked about this earlier too in Chill and Chat, Maureen, but there needs to be a paradigm shift in our society that allows mothers to fully give themselves permission to take care of themselves. And I don't know what it's going to take. I know there's more knowledge out there now, but hey, we're all helping other moms, and we all keep hearing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's time to shift it. And it's time for us as seniors to help the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors get on the let go train.
And our senior class too.
Right on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because there are some people that have been doing this for a really long time who haven't learned that lesson yet.
Right.
They haven't figured out how to. I'm continually learning the lesson because I am an overachiever by nature and a recovering perfectionist. So those habits die hard.
Right.
It's two sides of the same coin, though, right? It's the thing that keeps me pushing forward and doing this podcast and helping my patients. But then it's the other side of that is, okay, well, when is there time for me? So I think personally, I've gotten better at checking in with my body. When you guys were talking about your bodies, as Americans, we're so disembodied.
Yeah.
Right.
How true. Yeah.
We're not taught how to check in with our emotions and that they reside in the body.
Exactly.
So yeah. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to teach people as well. And you find that this is stuff everybody could use.
Oh yeah. It's like quantum physics 101.
Right. Exactly.
It's like we're all energy. And if anything, our kids have taught us that, they've come in with extra sensory issues.
Yes.
And they're kind of like, whoa, this world is kind of high volume. I got to figure out how to fit in.
Yeah.
And Jonathan has taught me that. So yes, energy to me it's such a word to focus on, to where if you recognize it and you can put it towards emotions, because emotions are energy and everything, the fluidity of the flow can help you strengthen your core and your energy and do better and be well. And yay. High five on that, Janine.
Exactly. Well, and I want you guys to talk a little bit about the retreat. But before we jump into that, I want to find out, I want to get down to like practical things. Is there something that you guys do every single day to make sure that you maintain that peace in your life?
Yeah. I mean, I'll jump in. I started being able to get out of bed each day with joy based on gratitude practice. And I mean, truly stepping in and feeling into gratitude before I put my feet on the floor, and asking myself before I begin each day, who do I want to show up as? And, today, and most days, but today is a day of service. I want to show up as service. So I want to reach as many moms as possible. This whole day is about autism moms and speaking our language and building community. My entire day. So that is how I do it. I practice gratitude, I feel the gratitude, and then I apply the gratitude. And if for some reason I have technology problems or anything like that, like I did today, I instantly can go back to, okay, don't feel the stress, don't give into it. Who do you want to be today? And I want to be service and help and offer love and hope. And so you just gotta practice it.
I love that. I love that. Maureen, how about you? What practice do you have daily?
I love that. I do the gratitude aspect like Brigitte does. I found that for me, excuse me, I have to do more of a physical thing too. So before I even have my feet hit the ground, I do stretches and yoga stretches. But while I'm doing that, I'm doing my, my blessings. I like to think of all the blessings I have, and which goes into gratitude also. But it lightens my frequency. So what I like to do is focus on how I'm going to be for others today, but I also know I need to focus on me first. So I get up and I do my stretches. It makes me feel good. It gets everything moving and grooving, my lymphatic system and everything. Mm-hmm. And then I go right into I'm on duty, because I'm a single caretaker of my son, right? So, I get to breakfast and do all that stuff. And then I have my routine for the day of who I'm helping and working and clients and stuff. But if I start to get dipped down on frequency of energy, I go to my go-tos. Like I go jump and put on a song that instantly lifts my energy. And I make a phone call to a friend and I get a lifted energy. So that's a really go-to every day, is because the day brings stuff, right? Like technical challenges, we had this earlier and stuff. But my instant go-to would be, okay, how do I shift my energy back up, and, grab a good song, think of a joke, think of a gratitude blessing. So yeah, that's how I make the day. And what's great is I see other people get affected by it. And that just, oh my gosh, talk about making my heart just burst of joy,
I love that. I love it. That's really wonderful. Okay, you guys have joined forces to to offer a mom's retreat for autism moms. Who wants to start by telling us what that's all about and when it is and how we can get there?
Go for it, Maureen.
Okay, there we go. I will. So we did come together, and Brigitte and I have a passion to help moms. And so what we're doing is we found this magical place. And I know we have limited time. So basically, you just have to trust us that to see it is to believe it. And it's right outside of Branson, Missouri. So it's only for autism moms, this first retreat we're doing. And it's a 3-day event where moms can reduce, the chronic stress that they deal with every day, where they can restore emotional and physical health, because they're going to be taken outside of their little autism bubble of routine, structure, and responsibilities, right? Mm-hmm. And stress, and plop down into this beautiful oasis of nature. And you're going to be put into a community of like-minded, empathetic moms. And we're going to run the retreat with workshops, but there's also going to be downtime and camaraderie. And you're going to be seen and heard in a safe place. And it's not going to be for a whole week. It's just 3 days, right? Nice. So I always say that, you give everything to your child, right? And now it's time to give something back to you. And because your healing will be their healing.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Brigitte, what else can you tell us about the retreat?
Well, Maureen did an excellent job describing it. And I agree with you, Maureen. It's hard to describe the beauty there. We're 20 acres with tree houses, bungalows, right on the Lake of the Ozarks. I would also say that we're going to have fun. Yes, we're gonna do some workshops. You're gonna leave with a toolkit. You're going to, and I will guarantee this. You're going to leave lighter. You're going to know how to live lighter. So it's going to be all application, but the cool thing is you get to take it with you, and it doesn't stop when you leave the retreat. It's an ongoing self-discovery process. But you're also going to make friends. I think building the community is what really gets me pumped, because we are autism moms, and there's a level of loneliness, and we all speak each other's language. All moms are superheroes, but I think autism moms are unique, like our kids, and it's hard to feel understood, much like our kids, with other moms. So it's just a cool thing to do, to pay it forward and offer this opportunity for moms to come hang out and chill and chat and do
And invest in themselves, right?
Yeah.
To see the value on who they are, and we just can't wait to help take away the debris and pump you up.
I love that. And so it's in Missouri, and for those who are listening at the time that we're recording this in April of 2025, it will be this summer. What are the dates?
Yes, it's July 11th through the 13th in Blue Eye, Missouri.
Okay.
So it's 20 minutes outside of Branson, so you can fly into Branson or do a road trip, get some windshield time with your bestie, your autism mom bestie. So, July 11th through the 13th.
Okay, great. I will link to the site in the show notes, which is beautiful, by the way. The website for this event just it really gives you a great idea of just how beautiful this setting is.
Thank you.
And we're going to have a chef. We forgot to mention that, Chef Kyle. And as we've said before, if you're an autism mom, you're really more than likely into nutrition, of things that we're all sensitive to. So if there is a dietary need, Chef Kyle will make it happen for you all.
And we made it to where the price of the retreat is all inclusive. So it's your lodging, it's your food, it is the workshops, it's the environment, it's the community. It's just one price. So all you have to do is pack your bag, get there, and unpack.
And you're going to take care of the mommies. That's
yes, we will.
I love that, and I am going to try to be there. I know people will be asking, "Are you going to go?" I really do want to. It's with our lives, I can't do anything more than like 2 months at a time.
Yeah.
Well,
we want you there.
Well, thank you. I will do my best.
Yeah.
Well, and so I want to be mindful of your time. But I always ask everyone this question, and I'll have each of you kind of take a moment. If every autism mom in the world were listening, what would you want them to know?
Here's what I want you to know. You're going to be okay. That is the first thing I want to say. I want you to absorb it. You will be okay. You don't have to live in a lonely, overwhelmed, stressful world. Your child will be okay. And that on this journey, the number one thing that I, the slow learner, wished I would have known is to take care of myself first so that I could be a happier, more energetic mom. Mm-hmm. That's my message.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you. How about you, Maureen?
Well, just to even add on to that, the first thing that really just comes to mind, what I want every autism mom to know is you matter. You matter. You're not just a mom. You're not just a wife. You're not just a friend. You're not just a sister. You are you. You're an individual brought forth with a soul to encompass this adventure in life, and you matter. And I want you to see how much you matter. And Brigitte and I both do. And Jenny, you do. I mean, we all do. It's like, let's see your let's hold your hand and just remind you that you matter. And even though all the stuff's going to be flying at you, just take a breath and know that you matter, and it will be okay.
Yeah.
Just like Brigitte said, it'll be okay.
I love that. You guys, I think this is the first time I've teared up during an interview. So my goodness, that was just so beautiful and so sweet and so touching. So I'm just so glad that you came on today to share all of your goodness with us. Thank you so much for being
Thanks
here.
for having us and giving us the opportunity. It's been amazing.
Our honor. Our honor.
Absolutely. And we'll link to everything in the show notes so everybody can sign up and go.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
The information in this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for help from a licensed mental health professional.